Oh. They're sneaking around up there. You can hear them. My constructors.
The worst case scenario that you believe about me. Believe that I was painting paintings, not because I've been a painter my whole life, not because it literally saved my life, not because it's really meaningful to me. Believe that I was painting paintings to somehow curry favor with whomever, okay? As compared, like if you believe the worst possible thing that they've ever said about me, what they are openly doing
is 20 times worse. True!
They're openly doing. And nobody's batting an eye. Don Jr. is opening a club called the Executive Club in Georgetown, in which it is promised that you will be able to rub shoulders at the cost of a $500,000 initiation fee.
The $500,000 membership fee would make it the most expensive private membership club in the country after Mar-a-Lago.
To join the club with people and decision makers in the cabinet of his father.
Now, the launch party on Saturday night included a who's who from the Trump cabinet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Attorney General Pam Bondi, SEC Chair Paul Atkins, Dr. Oz, and a lot of others.
What is that other than literally the sale of influence? And by the way, that's just like a side thing for them.
Yeah, and like you.
Okay, well, we'll trust this later. Dave Smith index of the debate. I have no idea. They didn't email me back, so I don't know.
Today is the one-year anniversary.
Dipshit. Misspeak. Why was Nico so afraid of being on a call with you? He's kind of a grifter in terms of his, like, he doesn't really know anything about Islam or anything that he talks about. And I'm like the worst kind of person to be in a call with if you're that kind of person. He just kind of wants to do his little thing.
Today is the one-year anniversary of President Biden pulling his name out of the 2024 presidential race, and his son, Hunter, is doing a little bit of reflecting. He just sat down for an interview with YouTuber Andrew Callahan, and Hunter got candid about George Clooney's op-ed calling for his father to exit the race. Watch this.
I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
The most successful administration in my lifetime.
What is the point of Hunter Biden's media tour?
I haven't the slightest idea, Kennedy. I think that the fact that 3 Washington journalists just wrote a tell-all book that basically blames Joe Biden's loss on his son Hunter and laid out examples of why that is. Maybe now he wants to go out there and defend it, but that is an obscure interview making crazy claims attacking George Clooney. He's apparently in this interview on the wrong side of the immigration issue, which, by the way, is the issue more than others that tanked his father's presidency.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Griff. Let's take a little gander at Hunter Biden's hot take on immigration.
Wait, I don't think I can watch this. These people are actual ghouls. I'm good. Sorry, Radiant. House Republicans have virtually stopped work on all major legislation leading up to their 6-week summer recess to avoid taking votes on forcing the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. House Speaker Mike Johnson told reporters Monday evening that he has no plans to send members home early for August recess. There's no need to allow the Democrats to just continue to hammer their political points and make speeches and grandstands, so that's why rules is going in. Damn, they mad.
You say yesterday that you were in lockstep with the administration on the Epstein files, but it doesn't seem that you're in lockstep with all of your House Republicans. Thomas Massey just saying in the past hour that this is going to come back and bite Republicans. what do you say to those schisms inside your conference here?
I say Thomas Massey is the one trying to bite Republicans, okay? I'm not quite certain what his strategy is.
But it's just not him. I mean, otherwise you guys wouldn't be calling off the week tomorrow. You'd be able to put your rules on the floor. I understand the issue with the Democrats.
Yeah, no, I just explained why. We're not going to play political games with this. We've all been very clear and transparent. The House Rules Resolution sets a good standard and requires all credible evidence to be released, and that's exactly where the White House is. There's no, as I've said many times over the last, as I've said many times, there's no daylight between the White House and the House. You have to allow the legislation to ripen, and you also have to allow the administration the space to do what it is doing. The president has said clearly, and he has now ordered his DOJ to do what it is we've all needed DOJ to do for years now, and that is to get everything released. So they're in the process of that. There's no purpose for Congress to push an administration to do something that they're already doing. And
Can we just talk about Obama some more?
so as the leader of my party, I lead the incumbent protection program. Okay, that's my job. I go all around the country. I travel endlessly, incessantly. I have to raise over $300 million to do that, and we want everybody to come back. And some people, I try to protect them from themselves. You know, they kick and scream and bite their own colleagues. Some people seem to enjoy trying to inflict political pain on their own teammates. I'm not going to address anybody individually, but I'll tell you that some here are much more frustrated than others. There's a small, tiny handful, but one in particular who's given me lots of consternation. I don't understand. I don't understand Thomas Massey's motivation. I really don't. I don't know how his mind works. I don't know what he's thinking. Thomas Massey could have brought his discharge petition any time over the last 4.5 years. Over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, he could have done that at any time. And now he's clamoring as if there's some sort of timeline on it. It's interesting to me that he chose the election of President Trump to bring this, to team up with the Democrats and bring this discharge petition. So do I have some concern about that? I do. But you know, in me and my way, I try to follow Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, never speak evil of another Republican. My gosh, it's hard to do sometimes around here. I also try to follow the scripture. You know, it says, bless those who persecute you. So let me just say about Thomas Massey, could you just accept my Southern, bless his heart? Okay, I don't know what else to say about it. We're for maximum transparency. We're engaging in that right now. And we don't need political games.
The president just ordered the FBI to release the full Epstein files, just get it all out there.
The president has said if the Department of Justice and the FBI want to move forward with releasing any further credible evidence, they should do so. As to why they have or have not or will, you should ask the FBI about that. Go ahead.
The president just ordered.
I like how he went from being able to declassify things with his mind psychically, even after he was out of office, to now he's powerless to do anything. Jesus. Bro, this is not related to anything. This is dumb drama shit. Why is, I don't understand how Cherry became so obsessed with Kyla. I don't know if it's jealousy or, you know, she has like a whole other Twitter account where she just like tweets nonstop about her, and she like obsessively posts about her in Justicle's Discord server. It's insane. She's like an actual, like trying to be like a Kyla skinwalker. It's wild. How obsessed she is. Oh my God. She watched Mr. Girl one time. Somebody in chat said something about how when me and Kyla started Bridges, maybe Cherry got jealous because she thought we were going to start a show. I don't know if there might be some element of truth. I have no idea. It's actually like insane though. She's been a Kyla anti-fan for a very long time. Yeah, for years. I remember she made like a video series on Kyla, I think like 2 years ago or something. Okay, sorry. Jesus.
Oh man, it's been so long, but I think
Hey, it's the guy.
I think water. I think before I say anything, I just kind of want to say, I'm not looking for I guess, I'm not looking for any sympathy going forward, or I just want to kind of tell my side and pretty much my side of the story, and yeah, I'm not really yeah, I turned notifications off. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just kind of want to tell what my last month's been like and regarding everything. Like I said, I think I'm just trying to keep the community updated, you guys, the melee community, and kind of just want to update. And I think that's kind of where I'm at, and I just want to kind of, talk about that. And I think, first of all, I just want to say,
Do we care about this? I don't think I care about this so much.
That I do not want to release those children's names and innocent people. If you flew on his plane, dadgummit, doesn't mean you're a pedophile. That's what folks do and that run in these very wealthy circles. I know some people and that fly in other people's planes when their plane is down, and somebody will say, "Hey, I've got an empty seat. We're going. You want to ride with us instead of waiting on your repairs on your plane?" They say, "Sure," and then they get on it and they're on the flight logs. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a pedophile, and so I would hope there's some sort of filter or way we could screen that, and I don't know what that is. Again, I'm not.
What Tulsi Gabbard has done, the DNI chief, in essence, declassifying hundreds of documents that seem to suggest that manufactured intelligence was at play here with the Obama administration regarding this Russian collusion hoax. I've heard Stephen Miller call it a seditious conspiracy. I've heard Tulsi Gabbard call it a treasonous conspiracy. You're a constitutional guy. What do you see in this?
Constitutional
exactly?
guy.
How do you term it?
Well, I don't know how to summarize it by way of description in a snappy phrase, but I will tell you it is deeply problematic. And before I became Speaker of the House, I served on the House Judiciary Committee, which had jurisdiction over a lot of this. And we knew what was happening. We knew intuitively, and we were gathering the evidence as we were investigating all of this ourselves. We knew the Russia collusion thing was a hoax. They used it as a basis to attack the president mercilessly. I served on his impeachment defense teams twice. That would be unheard of in history, that a president would be impeached twice on such spurless claims. But in those processes, as we were preparing for those defenses, as we were investigating with our oversight responsibility in judiciary, we recognized that the people who are being called out now were involved in a scheme. We knew that it was a shameless, false set of accusations, and yet they perpetuated the lie on the American people, and they looked right into the camera and just lied, clearly. And they knew what they were up to the whole time. So there must be accountability for that, because what it does ultimately, the greatest threat of all this is not just what they've done to President Trump as an individual, it's what they're doing to the institutions, even broader than that. They have diminished the people's faith in our system of justice itself, in the institution of the Department of Justice, in the institution of the FBI. And those are critical functions that are played in a constitutional republic. And so we're in the process of restoring trust and rebuilding the people's belief in our system of justice itself. And it's an extraordinary challenge that was brought about because people were involved in a sinister plot. And so there must be accountability.
You say there must be accountability. The DOJ will work on the criminal aspect of this. What's the role of the House here specifically? I mean, people want to see subpoenas, they want to see depositions, they want to see whether it be Brennan, Clapper, potentially the former president of the United States. Are you willing to go down that route? Because a lot of people want to see some of these folks questioned under oath.
Of course. Look, I think we have a responsibility to follow the truth where it leads, and to do it in an unbiased fashion, to do effectively the opposite of what that other team did. They're engaged in a partisan political plot to take down their foe and the other party. We need to be about the rule of law and bringing order to the chaos and searching out the truth, because the American people are owed those answers. So we have some very bright, very capable, very strong leaders at Judiciary and Oversight, Chairman Jim Jordan, Chairman Jamie Comer, and the other committees that would be involved. And I do expect that whether there's a special counsel appointed, which some are suggesting, and or in conjunction with the House investigations, that we will get the answers, and there will be accountability to the extent that we're able to do that, referring people to the DOJ for prosecution and any other measure that is appropriate as we begin to uncover more of the facts.
Does it get tricky at all with the former president, President Obama, looking at what his role in this is and bringing him in for some sort of deposition, potential subpoena?
Well, listen, I mean, we have no concern about that. If it's uncomfortable for him, he shouldn't have been involved in overseeing this, which is what it appears to us has happened.
Remember, criminal immunity, so don't ever worry about Obama going to jail, okay? Presidents can commit crimes, so.
There's a lot of allegations on the table. Our job is to go and follow each of those trails and to find out the truth. Those are very serious allegations with very serious implications, but we're going to have very serious people working on it, and we will get the answers.
Very serious people. These are all very serious people.
Of these there was just one mention of these explosions.
Have you seen the new Hunter Biden interview? Yeah, we watched about an hour and a half of it yesterday, or 2 hours. I think we'll finish it today.
Of declassification and publication of documents related to the Russia hoax across all major Sunday shows this weekend. I wonder why. Well, we'll cover it. You can count on that. There was just one mention of these explosive.
Explosive. Why did no one care?
Victor, when you think about the time, the man hours, the tens of millions of dollars, probably over $100 million when you add it all up, of the Mueller investigation, that entire thing was built on a lie. Running all the way up to the election of 2020, all the way up.
This is the thing that made money because of all of the property and money seized from, the assets seized from Manafort.
To the debates, as you said. But that entire thing was a fraud. And Obama knew those reports, what they were, right? He knew. And all these individuals knew the truth, but they wanted Trump's presidency to fail. They wanted it to be considered illegitimate, as they said that he was against democracy. That's the rub here.
Yeah, they wanted Donald Trump's administration to fail, and they wanted to destroy him career-wise, presidential-wise, psychologically. They wanted to destroy him. And so they went through the collusion false narrative in 2015 and 16. That failed. They took a little breath. Then they ate up 22 months and $40 million of his administration to destroy it. Then they took a little breath and they went into the first impeachment phony Zelensky phone call and Vindman and the quote-unquote whistleblower. And so this was a three-year project to overturn the will of the American people and to destroy administration. Makes Watergate, as people have remarked on, Laura, look like small potatoes. It really did. It's such a magnitude, we can't even grasp it.
Okay, I would like to eliminate all ambiguity in this position. I do fully 100% believe that Hassan is just a full-on, as much as any Nazi, anti-Semite. It's actually just insane.
There are two grave threats to Israel's existence, right? And it's not fucking Iran or Hezbollah or Hamas or anything like that, okay? The greatest threat to Israel's existence is Israelis themselves being like, yeah, fuck this shit. I don't feel safe here at all. I'm leaving. I'm going back to Brooklyn. I'm leaving. I'm going to France. I'm leaving. I'm going to fucking the UK. When more and more liberal Israelis, who are themselves most likely bloodthirsty as well, okay, in terms of like how Israel has dealt with Gaza or whatever, but they don't like the negative consequences of Israel doing that, which is like the Iron Dome and its security perishing, you are left with a country that is packed to the fucking gills with the most inbred, uneducated, ultra-nationalist, rabid, Haredi population, and like,
I still can't believe what I don't even know what I got permabanned for on that website. That's just unbelievable to me, dude. Holy shit.
We have such a big platform.
no, I think people would still, your fans would, depending on how they feel about it, they
Right,
probably would
so
be.
Right now, we just had Netanyahu on. A bunch of people watched it. I think a lot of people saw through what he was saying. Now, already on the same day, we've had 3 people on with complete opposite viewpoints. Hassan, Sneeko, Myron, Nick Fuentes. So what?
Okay.
Wait. Let me finish.
Don't loop me in with those guys.
That's such a funny crowd to be in. Oh my god.
I said opposite.
Don't put me in the same category as these guys.
Let me finish.
Off topic, Ozzy Osbourne died. Yeah, I know. I heard. R.I.P. to Ozzy Osbourne. His wife sucks, for sure.
Why is his wife? Is she Israeli or Jewish or something?
Off
Or
topic.
Did she say something vaguely positive in the direction of a Jewish person? As a Jew, this makes me sad. Why does Twitch tolerate this? Because you guys are just useful tools. Oh, they were both pro-Israel. Damn. Got him. You should be partially upset, though, about people on my side. And when I say my side, I don't even mean moderate libs. I mean DGGers. I think that there is too much. I think there is too much of this. Come on, guys. We can't cut off everybody. We got to have some commonality. I'd rather fucking retire. I just don't. I can't do it, dude. Even like, and I've gone back and forth on it so much, but I can't do it. I can't break bread with people like Kyle Kalinske and then see how brain broken they are when it comes to foreign policy. It bleeds into too much other shit. It's just impossible to do it. I can't. It's too much. It's too much. It's like being close friends with somebody who eats shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's like, fuck, I know this doesn't matter that much, and I just don't have to ever be with them at a single meal ever, but even when we're hanging out, sometimes I can kind of smell this shit on your breath, and it's just like, I can't even think of it. It's too much. I don't know, man. It's too much. The subreddit is fucked and infested with that take. I mean, I don't fault my fans for feeling that way. Like, I get it. It sucks. I almost wish that I wouldn't have ever done the Israel-Palestine topic, because that's an isolator. The problem is that there's that one post, it's like where critical thought goes to die. Like, you lose so many connections and so many potential content creators whose content you can consume if you know literally anything about that conflict. It's like the most agonizing fucking thing to watch everybody go brain broken on. Holy shit. Live and learn on this topic. Oh, because AOC is getting fucking eviscerated right now.
Listening to him. Can you address that part, Hutch? Because I think, listen, I'm not a foreign policy guy, but from what little I've heard, that was, I think, a pretty good point. This idea that it doesn't necessitate the death of Israeli citizens. If the Israeli government is capable of funding the Iron Dome on itself, Israel just can't have its cake and eat it too. They can't simultaneously commit an offensive war with it.
Just so you guys know, I don't know why nobody understands this, okay? The Iron Dome is there to protect Arabs, okay? If you don't know anything about what's going on, just understand the Iron Dome exists to protect Arabs. Israel didn't win the war in 48 with the Iron Dome. They didn't win the war in 67 or in 73 because of the Iron Dome, all right? If you want to get rid of the Iron Dome, then fine, go for it. But then the next barrage of rockets is going to be the real genocide, all right? The next time, 100, 1,000 fucking rockets come in and blow up, a quarter of Tel Aviv, then you're going to see what a real ethnic cleansing / genocide looks like. Like, the only reason you guys even have a leg to stand on is because that Iron Dome exists. You really think that Israel is going to tolerate getting randomly bombed constantly by its neighbors, number one, and then two, not retaliate with the fucking hand of God, now knowing that they have nothing to keep themselves from being randomly killed by fucking rockets? Like, people don't even know what they're advocating for. It's so stupid.
impunity and rely on the United States largesse. They can protect themselves. It doesn't necessitate Israeli deaths. It also prevent them from being in a position to inflict such casualties on Palestinians. Do you accept that?
It's the exact opposite. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Jewish people or white people or what makes people so brain broken on this. Like, oh, okay. Well, your neighbor that's launching 5,000 million rockets at you constantly. Well, now we can't protect ourselves from them. What should we do? Let's go to them and negotiate in peace. The ones that are calling for global jihad against you, yeah, with the raped, body broken girl in the truck, those people, right? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, yeah, let's go and have happy, peaceful negotiations with them, and we're going to figure out all of our problems. It's going to be wonderful.
Yes, that's an understandable argument. I understand what you're saying here. If we can dive into the like practical consideration here.
Okay.
No.
Wait, but can you grant that at least? I mean, wait. So you're gonna say grant? Okay. So you're great. Okay. Cool.
I understand that argument. Maybe I didn't hear what he was saying exactly because I was in my own head or whatever. But yes, that makes sense. But like, just now, can we dive into the practical?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So someone like AOC, right? You guys want to see her succeed, like.
I get what you mean when saying that without the Iron Dome, Israel's retaliation would be much harsher, but that doesn't mean the purpose of it is to protect Palestinians. It is still there to protect Israel. Fuck, this guy said it so good. I'm not gonna be able to find it. It was a Twitter video of Zizek talking about how when the West, it has to do with what was it? I don't remember if this is about the Middle East, but when the West criticizes itself and tries to hold itself accountable, it is doing it with a language that is it was invented by the West and it's exclusively understood by the West. And nobody else on the planet uses these same types of bizarro fucking analyses or standards by which it analyzes itself. Fuck, I wish I could remember what this tweet was. What was it? Search your browser history? No, it wasn't. I don't know if Zizek's name was in the... Oh my God, it's here.
Varoufakis, who likes to repeat, Europa is kaput. No. I think that the first symptom is that what unites all around the world, left and right, they all hate united Europe. For example, Latino Americans claim Eurocentrism the worst. In Africa, you did the slavery blah blah first. Here I learned from intelligent right-wingers. It's not true. You know that the Muslims got more slaves from Eastern Africa than Latin Americans from the West. So then Putin against Europe, everybody, China and so on. Why is this happening when everybody is telling us Europe is over, but at the same time Eurocentrism is presented as the ultimate enemy? No, I think today history took care of, under quotation marks, bad aspects of Eurocentrism. But what remains is, are we aware, one argument, that even those who criticize European legacy, they do it strictly in the terms which were articulated by the European legacy.
People use Eurocentrism to criticize Euro or Western centrism. I bring this back to say that about the Iron Dome, and it's funny because I feel like this is an edgy thing to say, but it's not actually edgy. It's just so true. Israel is a victim, in a large extent, of their Eurocentrism. This is going to sound incredibly edgy if you're retarded, but if you know the slightest bit of history in the region, it is so obvious that because Israel came in as a Western-style democracy and they try to hold themselves accountable and all this bullshit, they have the problems today that they do as a result of their not being able to reconcile those values with the region. If Israel was like Turkey, they would have murdered every single Palestinian, and we wouldn't be talking about the Palestinians today. Like the Turks did with the Armenians and however many other ethnic groups, like they do today with the fucking Kurds, like they did when they expelled all the fucking Greeks. Like, it wouldn't even be a conversation. Turkey had no problem marching 1 million motherfuckers off into the Syrian deserts to die because they were like, oh, this is a place for our ethnic group and nobody else. Bye. It wouldn't even be a thought in your head. And nobody talks about there's only 20 countries even recognize the Armenian genocide as a real thing today. Like, nobody even gives a fuck. So you have that issue of Israelis are like, oh, well, we're better than those people. We're Western and we're democratic and we're going to not just fucking slaughter and murder fucking everybody is the first issue. And then the second issue is Israel saying oh, well, we're going to engage in self-critique, right? Who are you quoting and who are you citing all the time when you're talking about the horrible things that Israel does, right? You're talking about Haaretz, right? This is an Israeli news source. You're talking about B'Tselem, which was an organization created in Israel by Israeli Jews to monitor the Palestinian crisis, right? And then what part of the UN is keeping track of the Palestinians? UNRWA, literally a branch in the UN that was created just to monitor the Palestinians. If you want to, so when people are like, well, look at all this horrible stuff from Israeli history, how do you even know that? You know that because Israel has opened their archives and made it available for you to go through and read it to actually criticize them. When you're criticizing like Egyptian history, it's not because they've opened their historical archives for you to go through. When was the last time Bashar al-Assad invited historians in to audit the administration? When was the last time the Jordanian monarchy invited people in to go through past documents and cables between diplomatic figures? When was the last time Saddam Hussein or any leader of Iraq or the Ayatollah in Iran, like it's such an insane world. I don't care. At the end of the day, we can all hate Jews together. That's what I'm trying to say, okay?
Like, she is the biggest champion right now. Because she's the biggest champion by far for democratic socialism or progressive policies in Congress.
100%.
Bernie's very
100%.
clearly handing her the mantle. She very clearly, I think, is not going to be content to stay in the House. I don't think she wants to be House Speaker. I think she wants to be a senator, a governor, a president. I think
We'll see, yeah.
I think that's my sense of things, right?
Wait, is that true? Okay, so I don't know, I guess, as much about like politics and stuff for Congress. Wouldn't Speaker of the House be a more prestigious role than Senator? That would be my assumption, right? Way more people know Pelosi and Mike Johnson than any random fuck senator, no? Although maybe some senator positions are more prestigious. Hillary Clinton was senator from New York, right?
As such, you should be actively rooting for her to do these kinds of votes, because
these like ruthless kind of votes.
This type of thing is the type of thing that will come back to like.
Oh, he just means a random speaker in Congress, not a speaker in the House. Oh, okay.
Bite her in the ass. 4 years from now, she's going to be on a debate stage, or 3 years from now, she's going to be on a debate stage.
Wait, the way she voted, or if she voted a different way? Can you clarify?
If she voted to strip funding for the Iron Dome,
gotcha.
There's going to be a moderator or whatever during the primary debates, and they're going to ask her, why did you vote to strip a defensive missile system? And even if your argument here is persuasive, to normie voters, they're just going to hear, like, what? You wanted to get rid of their defensive missile systems? And this is going to be something like that is baggage. And there was no upside to her doing that vote. Why does she need to shore up her support from a lefty online voter base? Why does she still need their support?
I'm not super offended by this vote. I think people who are swaying out about it are cringe.
She voted against the bill. She voted
because it was dead on arrival, right?
Like bill.
How many votes did it get?
The amendment only got six. Her amendment only got 6 votes, bro. It was like 400 plus people voted against it.
But wait, really? That's what these people are so fucking mad about, the lefties? Not these guys here, but the people online.
But I would like critique, and I would be scathing to anyone who, like, if AOC did vote in favor of this provision, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. And if she voted against that, I don't really have a problem with that. For me, it's not a humongous deal. It's not like the other kind of signaling votes that do matter to me, for example, that indicate weakness, right? On the one hand,
but you understand how people are going to weaponize a vote like that in the future, and it's just going to cost.
Actually, I'm not super offended by it. I think the people who are so out about it would vote for her, probably. And I think that she would get huge support from the far left community, from the pro-Palestinian community. And just to be clear about where I stand on something, I go after Ogre Boy because individually, I think a lot of there are some pro-Palestinian commentators who do have to answer for their votes with respect to not voting for Kamala or voting for Trump in some cases. But in general, like, the lefts voted for Kamala, and so I'm so done with this narrative. It's just really just not true that, like, we're in favor of having that, like, fall out. The left, by and large, is voting for the Democratic candidate. It's not a huge deal, and I think people will get over it. And I think that I have to make a little self-critique or critique you, Hutch, a little bit. I think that the amount of time that you spend on lefties is a little inordinate given the risk that they pose from an electoral perspective.
They are all viciously attacking the best chance for democratic socialism in the Congress right now. Pull up her tweet and go in there.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Netanyahu. I'll talk to you later. Sorry, I was just finishing up a call with my good close friend. Anyway, I hate that the lefties get to occupy this position of simultaneously being like not the sole, but a huge disseminator of information on media, but also politically irrelevant, because it lets them occupy this like dual position of like, Why are you criticizing us so much, guys? Like, we don't kind of vote. It doesn't matter. And then also, by the way, we're about to set the narratives for the entire alternative media left online. Good luck. In a way, I've even played into this a bit. When I argue with conservatives, I'm like, hey, listen, like, these people don't vote. They're not relevant, okay? Can we stop talking about them? Although that's when addressing conservatives who are worried about policy, we should be talking right now, when we're talking to ourselves on the left, about, like, what does our message look like? I don't know if I fully agree with Pisco here, though. Wasn't it the case that there were places like for Michigan, did the Dearborn voters actually kind of lean away, like, from where we would expect them? How did Dearborn vote? Dearborn vote. Is there like a clean and easy way to see a Trump won? No, that's not true. Hold on. That can't possibly be the case, right? Jill Stein got 18% of the vote? 18% of the vote. Trump won with 42.48%, and Kamala got 36.26% in a 55% Middle Eastern district. Holy shit. I guess it's in line with nobody kills Arabs more than Arabs do. Jesus.
They'll get what do you mean?
How did they vote in 2020? Dearborn, Michigan, vote 2020. Results. Biden won 68.8 to 29.7. Ah! Oh, damn. Specifically in the south area of Dearborn, an area with a high concentration of Arab American voters, Biden secured an even larger majority, winning 88% of the vote. Anyway, okay, sorry. This fucking Gaza issue has been a brain rot fucking issue. But also fucking based. You know what? Arabs deserve it, okay? If you guys can mind fuck our media, fucking Qataris are sitting here shilling money to every fucking Ivy League college in America, being like, tell them the Jews did it, okay? You know what? Fucking hey, dude.
Well, perspective.
They are all viciously attacking the best chance for democratic socialism in the Congress right now. Pull up her tweet and go in there.
They'll get over it.
What do you mean get over it?
Hassan will do a stream.
Hate this logic.
Hassan will do a stream with it.
Hassan, the largest left-wing streamer on the internet, just so you know. Go ahead.
Progressive media have no power.
Well,
really?
I think what he's saying, and I'm curious about this, and maybe we should ask Lakshya about this when we talk to him next Monday, is I think Pisco's argument is, though they will bitch online about that it doesn't manifest meaningfully in voter turnout.
You know what? You know what they need to do? They need to have five lib and learns. They need to start bringing IRI on the show. Gee, because holy Christ.
By and large, lefties, progressives will still vote for the moderate Democratic candidate if a Republican is the alternative.
I completely reject this notion.
Oh my God, is he gonna have the numbers?
A collective of audiences that number in the millions.
Also, yeah, you have to understand, for the same side, no, I'm not saying that any of these three guys did this, okay? Although I did this, and I still believe this, for the same side that says, oh my God, you know, negative influence online can lead to horrible beliefs in real life, like even hanging out in certain humor environments can lead you to adopt really dangerous and harmful beliefs. For that side to be like, well, the entire left-wing media apparatus is pushing this absolute and utter nonsense that is self-destructive to the party, but that shouldn't manifest in any material way in the real world, LOL. That can't be, you can't have both of those positions.
Mm-hmm. That traffic in this kind of idiotic, myopic, juvenile, like baseless oftentimes rhetoric, you don't think that's doing damage electorally? Especially when these elections are this close.
No, it's
you guys are high, man.
I don't.
You're high.
It's not. No. But it's not. It's not that I don't think there's some margin of people that would be convinced by this. But we have to consider a few things. All right. So number one, a lot of these people have overlapping audiences, right? Number two.
Oh wait. A lot of these people have overlapping audiences, so it's all an illusion. Actually, they're not that large online. They're not as big as they seem.
A lot of the audience of these people aren't necessarily like anti-electoralist or like Green Party.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I don't know if this chatter missed this point earlier. Is bringing up this. Destiny, everything about Israel-Palestine being interesting can be said about Turkey/Greece and Cyprus. Yet nobody. I'm sorry. You're saying in Cyprus particularly. The Greeks are a fallen empire. No one cares. Turks are seen as brown in the West, even though they're not really, but they're all basically Arabs to us. Even the Persians, even the Turks, everybody's like Arab to us. So as long as they're doing the oppressing, nobody actually gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Sorry, bro. That's the way that it goes.
Well, a lot of the audience of these people aren't necessarily like anti-electoralist or like Green Party voting socialists. You know, a lot of the people that watch these people are also libs, or also Democratic Party voters who just take a more skeptical view of things. And so when we look at, I think to Pisco's point, this is what resonates with me. Like when we look at like polling data, voting behavior, you know, we can even look at the anecdotes of just like what happens when AOC gives a public appearance or gives a public speech, right? You do find that there are some people, and by the way, this was a vote that she took a year ago. It was substantially the same vote where she voted to continue funding the Iron Dome. And
it literally was.
Look at what happened in that last year. Like, yeah, there have been a few people that have shown up to a few of her events and yelled at her. They threw paint on her, like her office, I guess, the other day. But look, she's going to coast to re-election in 2020.
I also think there's something to be said, okay, and you should know this better than anybody, because this type of rhetoric, I think you have to be careful. Remember. We're trying to get ahead where the puck is going to be, okay, and not where the puck was, all right? Greece was never an empire. I'm trolling. There's this weird thing that happens, okay? You have like three different environments, okay? On the right, you have an environment where everybody is fucking 9-year-olds, okay? We'll call this pedo paradise, all right? And then on the left, you have an environment where when somebody's like, shouldn't we be able to fuck 9-year-olds? Everybody's like, what? We'll call this pedo hell, okay? And there's this weird middle world that we are occupying right now in regards to, I would say easily, anti-Semitism, but a lot of other stuff as well, where somebody can float an idea and be like, well, would fucking 9-year-olds really be that bad? And not everybody has an instant revulsion to it. But then when the people that do have a big revulsion to it do, are like, wait, hold on. We probably should never be fucking 9-year-olds. Everybody else is like, bro, this is like not that many people like talking about this. It's not really that big of a deal. It's probably, I don't think that we're all going to be like pro 9-year-old fucking or whatever, right? Where the problem isn't that there are only a few people saying it. The problem is there's an eerie amount of tolerance to that type of rhetoric being as pervasive as it is. So I think the right has had an issue with this when it comes to like neo-Nazi shit for a while, right? Where, like I've said this multiple times, even after the Jubilee thing, I don't think those people on that Jubilee show, I think are a fraction of the MAGA movement. Like some of those views as high as 30%, some of them as low as 2%. The problem isn't that it's low, or I wouldn't say that like, oh, you know, there's not that many of it's not a big deal. The issue is that the rhetoric is pervasive enough and not instantly push back on. There's not an instant revulsion to it. That is a huge issue. And so like even this thought here, I was like, well, you know, there's only a few people that are rabidly screaming about AOC sometimes when she goes to do her media rallies. So it's not a big idea, or it's not a huge problem. You know, so this isn't a big idea that's like pervasive among the entire left. It's like, that's an uncomfortable amount of receptivity, or at the very least, it's an uncomfortable amount of, like indifference or nihilism, or not nihilism, it's just indifference or acceptance, I guess, or tolerance, I should say. That's what I'm tolerance of that idea.
That have shown up to a few of her events and yelled at her. They threw paint on her, like her office, I guess, the other day. But look, she's going to coast to re-election in 2026, more likely than not.
She'll be fine.
I don't understand you guys. You want to use kid gloves with these people. I really don't.
I'm not using kid gloves.
Yes, you do. You want
to. What are you talking about?
These are kid gloves. He's absolutely right. But for some reason, it's just I don't know. It's just insane to me that this is just an insane clip to me, and it's not even. This is why I get so mad on people chastising me over jokes about like dead fucking girls in Texas, right? Like, do you think I want little girls to die in Texas? If you even have to think for a microsecond, you're a fucking idiot. It's very obvious like what my actual position is. If you deal with the slightest amount of good faith, or even if you don't deal with a good faith, you hate me. Like, it's pretty obvious like what I'm saying, you know? Like, you guys clearly don't give a fuck about any of this. I am going to sit here and laugh at it because you guys clearly don't care because you're not taking any effective steps to remedy these things, right? but that will get called out for, because it's a mean joke or whatever. I understand too, because, I don't have the, I don't represent an intersection of political power that has enough movement behind it to make fun of dead children, right? I get that. Fine, that's fine. But the problem here is that, like, you have people, Hassan, who will say, like, vile jokes about a people, but they're not just jokes. There's underlying, all of it has a ton of, like, element of truth to it in terms of what he's saying. But he's not even dog whistling positions. He openly supports terrorist groups that are dedicated to the annihilation of Israel, of the Jewish people. And he openly, like, supports the leaders that are there, right? He talked about Nasrallah or whatever when he was talking to Nick. He was like, yeah, the U.S. doesn't like him, but remember Mandela? They didn't like him either, Like, he's brought on, like, that little Houthi dude who he only brought on because that guy was posting stories about him being a pro-terrorist Houthi warrior who was laughing and joking about hostages that were captured. Like, it's just this an insane... And then... right, denying any of the rapes that happened, all of that was fake, even though the UN said it. Sometimes he likes the UN, sometimes he doesn't, I guess. Now, not because of any underlying analysis, just because of what they say. Was it Vosh? Vosh was the one who said that he would be okay with the complete and utter annihilation of Israel as a state. But it's like, we're so far past... I hate this too, because sometimes people will tweet at me or they'll type things, or even in my community, like, oh, so now you're mad because he's joking? I thought edgy jokes were okay. I have no problem with edgy jokes. I wouldn't give a fuck. I make edgy jokes. I make edgy jokes about Jews sometimes, okay? There's lots of edgy jokes you can make, all right? The problem is these people aren't joking. Do you understand that? It's not even like the criticism is like, I think that Hassan's humor is, like, really problematic because it could lead people to bad beliefs. Hassan is a terrorist supporter, right? Like people like Hassan, there are strong arguments for, in the United States, I don't agree with it because I like our strong freedom of speech protections. But in other countries, I can see people like him being arrested. Like, unironically, if Hassan said the same thing about these terrorist organizations, if you were a German citizen and said the same thing about, like, neo-Nazis, you might actually get arrested or fined in places like Germany. It is just unhinged that you can be that avowedly pro-terrorist. And it's not even like he's supporting, like, I support, like, a moderate movement. Like, I support, like, the Palestinian Authority. If I had to guess, I haven't seen him talk about it, he probably hates the Palestinian Authority because they're seen as too moderate. Like, this collection of things, this collection of things is just too much. It's insane. And remember, we freaked the fuck out collectively over people like Nick Fuentes, like, 8 years ago when he was like, and Stefan Molyneux, when these people were just like itty bitty YouTubers, we were losing our minds about stochastic terrorism and all of that. This is the largest left-wing streamer on the internet who regularly gets puff pieces made in journalistic outlets about him, mainstream ones, who regularly, does interviews with major Democratic candidates. And then people are like, oh, come on, you're really going to shit on Hassan? You're really going to go after Hassan? He's just a streamer, bro. Like, there is an imbalance here, and it's just not. It's applied to Hassan. It's like that post yesterday on my subreddit or 2 days ago where they were like, the issue I think that people are having is they actually don't think that Trump is that bad, and I think it's the same thing here where people just don't think that this is that bad, and our whole, I guess, political system has just gotten so fucking insane lately. You can't see anything for how fucked it actually is, and this is a guy, like, keep in mind, like, Hassan is, like, openly on shows. This is the crazy thing too. Or maybe it was always like this in politics. I don't know. I feel like when you read about weird political shit in the past, like, people are kind of like dodgy, or not dodgy. People are like, they're not forthcoming about their political beliefs, right? Like, there are no really strong records of Hitler ordering the Holocaust. You have to kind of dig for the implications for this, for the cable of him talking about liquidating a train full of Jews, and then kind of figure it out based on the rest of the admin. If Donald Trump was Hitler today, he would be talking openly about the Holocaust on Fox News, right? We would be getting Twitter videos of it, half of them probably AI deepfaked, of people going into mass extermination showers, right? Like, it would be so much more open because people don't have to lie about it. Like Hassan was like literally on a show on YouTube publicly talking about how, like, yeah, I lie. I go on, like, as a lib to try to present myself as a moderate so that I can indoctrinate more people into Marxist-Leninism. It's just, I don't know. That's just wild to me.
Really don't.
I'm not using him for
Yes, you do. You want
what are
her
you talking about?
You want her to be successful, and you're hand waving literally all of them.
No,
like,
I'm not.
I don't agree. We don't agree with them.
You are.
We
You're
don't agree with them.
No, well, it's not that big of a deal. When the entire lefty media,
like, imagine that statement, right? Just you can feel it in the statements, right? Imagine somebody was bringing up like, why did AOC have a sit down with Nick Fuentes and talk for an hour and a half about how AOC's going to not have any children because she doesn't want to outbreed the white race, right? Imagine the response for these three guys. They're like, well, hold on. We don't agree with Nick Fuentes. We don't agree with him, dude. We don't agree with Fuentes, you know? That would not be the strength of that statement. The magnitude would be much greater. Right, that's the issue. And I don't know how people. Well, I know how people don't see it because it's hard to see because you get so boiling frog in a pot of water that's slowly heating up, I guess.
You are.
We don't
You're
agree
saying
with
it's
them.
not. Well, it's not that big of a deal. When the entire
Hutch is picking up on this, right? Yeah.
lefty media ecosystem are throwing her under the bus right now. All of them.
We don't think it will manifest in any kind of electoral result.
Like, this is the equivalent. That thing. Like, I don't think it'll manifest in any electoral. In any type of electoral thing. That's the equivalent to I'm trying to think of, where did Emma say this?
Level. But
Shut up! Fuck. What did she say? What was the word? Emma on this panel said something along the lines of like, oh, like I'm just a YouTuber, so I don't even think I have that much influence or whatever. It was so crazy. Fuck, I'm trying to remember what word she said that I can search for in the transcript. Maybe it's in the comments. I can feel it moving around. We don't matter? Was that it? Oh, we as YouTubers don't matter that much.
Insular, because that's how we lose and they win.
Yeah, I guess I'm struck by, like, I feel as if we really just don't matter that much. Like, as YouTube personalities or Twitch personalities, I think it's just we have to be vessels to get people politically organized. And at least how I feel is the guests that I have on my show. When we
what is the point of anything we're doing if we don't think we matter at all?
Have on somebody who is works in I don't know, like Astra Taylor, for example, we have on regularly with the Debt Collective. She is actively making change, working with the Biden administration to try to get student debt canceled. And that original cancellation that he did, that eventually the Supreme Court got overturned, that's a direct result of what they did, what the Debt Collective and Astra Taylor did. Like that's, I guess, what I view my role as, is using the fact that some people.
I'm not convinced that it will have a material effect on her election chances with respect to like any kind.
Like with her election chances. Thank you. Yes, AOC is in a plus 250 point Dem district. We understand that. But the idea that all of the left wing media coming together to shit on somebody online is irrelevant. Like, again, think of the standards that the right wing sets. Right? Has there ever been a time where look at the right wing on the Epstein stuff? I feel like it's been simultaneously horrifying and fascinating to watch themselves try to stay together on all of it, right? Where some people are trying to break, but people are chastising them and they're bringing them back in line. And you've got the lawmakers and you've got Mike Johnson that are on TV saying it's not that big of a deal. You've got Trump saying it's not that big of a deal. You've got the cabinet members trying to push on it saying it's not really that big of a deal. And some people are kind of breaking, and when they do, they're getting eviscerated by the party. They try so hard to keep it all together. And then on the left, we're like, who the fuck cares what anybody in our party fucking thinks? Does it really matter at the end of the day? LOL, it's just the entire online media apparatus. It shouldn't manifest in any negative way. Like, why don't we take a little bit of a pointer from the side that it has all the levers of power right now politically? Like, maybe they're doing a couple things right. It certainly isn't fucking policy, right? So maybe there's something to be gleaned there, some kind of insight to be gleaned there, maybe?
Kind of ambitious with the president and anything related to the Senate by your own metric, right? By your own metric.
Anything related to the Senate. So none of the online media space matters by your own metric. What are we about to say here?
kind of ambitious with the president and anything related to the Senate. By your own metric, right? By your own metric, she is going to do better because of this vote. Like, you are the one who's billing this as a strategic move.
She's going to do well, like with moderates or maybe in like future positions. And it's not even so much that she's going to do well with this move. It's that the people that are pressuring right now for a vote are asking her for a vote that would just be completely fucking horrible. It's not even that she's going to do well. This is like you have to do at least this to survive politically in the future.
These people, you get that?
Yeah. In spite of them.
Well, I don't think that Econoboy and Pisco are saying that the left bitching about AOC
We disagree
online
with
is
that.
helping.
I think it's
I don't think that they're saying that it's helping her. I think that they're saying that she will succeed in spite of them.
They're saying it's not that big of a deal, but Econoboy, you are changing your tune, my.
Have these guys? I'm curious if these guys feel like the right is falling apart over Epstein. Because in polling, that hasn't manifested at all.
Friend, because shortly after the election, you were making the case that polls were showing that a decent amount of people that sat out who otherwise would have voted Democrat, Gaza was a big deal to them. That's what you said shortly after the election.
Yeah,
you
but
don't think the social media ecosystem had any part in that? Like nothing or little part?
Well, no. Well, first of all, the mainstream media covered this as a huge issue as well, and I mean there were major swaths of the Democratic Party that made that a priority. But we have to keep in mind, like when people
major swaths of the Democratic Party that made it a priority. Excuse me, a priority to just screech and scream that Israel should be destroyed, that it's a genocidal apartheid state, that Netanyahu and the entire cabinet should be arrested, and that the entire country should cease to exist in the way that it does now. What are you talking about? What?
Aggregately say that they have more sympathy in the Democratic Party for Palestinians than for the Israeli government at this point.
Saying you have more sympathy for the Palestinians, that's a meaningless statement. I don't have very much sympathy for Israelis. It's a fucking first world, massively successful country that's built up a huge economy and a successful society on a fucking mound of trash, on a dirt pile. Why the fuck? I feel more sympathy for the Palestinians than the fucking Israelis. That doesn't mean anything. That's a totally different question.
Then that's a spectrum view of people. That like not everyone is as extreme as, you know, I don't know, like Hassan or Mike from PA on this issue. And, you know,
not everybody is extreme. Why? They should say, can you give me like one or two examples of mainstream left-wing figures that haven't outright called it a genocide? Because it's funny too, because that's where the conversation starts for lefties. A genocide. That's the start. Is calling it a genocide. And then you can go from there. But keep in mind, like, where are you at? The whole point of using the word genocide, I've said this a million times, is not to have an actual factual analysis of what's going on. It's to bring in all the moral weight and condemnation of that word. Okay, well, if it is a genocide, well, now what's the next step? What do we do with genocidal states, right? What do we do with Japan? What do we do with Nazi Germany? What do you do with people that do genocides? Make peace with and negotiate with them so that they can happily carry on with their lives? Right?
But when you actually like talk to a lot of pro-Palestinian organizers, when it comes to their view about AOC, it's just not quite as extreme as, you know, your average like lefty Twitter account where.
Who are the ones leading this? What?
A lot of them will say, yeah, it's a really disappointing vote, but look, I mean, AOC is right on even on this issue, like 95%. People have a sensibility about these things. And then when it comes to like, that's only amongst people that really, really, really prioritize this issue. I mean, I would ask you to make a prediction, Hutch. Do you think AOC is not going to get reelected to her congressional seat?
Like, that's the standard? Is that really the standard? AOC is in a what did she win her? So as long as AOC is still getting elected, then no harm, no foul? This district is plus 64. This is a plus 64 district. No, wait, that was a Democratic primary. I'm sorry. My bad. Plus 43. This is a plus 40 blue district. Yeah, she's not going to lose her general election. What is the point? 2024, I should say. That can't possibly be the standard. That can't possibly be the standard.
Do you think she's going to get primary? Do you think that she's going to have like wall-to-wall protests at every single event she goes to? Do you think that she's going to all of a sudden fall the fuck off in the polling of these presidential 2028 hypotheticals.
Like if this is the case, I don't ever want to hear these guys talk about Nick Fuentes. I don't ever want to hear them talk about Kanye West. I don't ever want to hear them, because these guys are not commanding that much media attention or presence. If that's what we're saying, that the I guess the standard is, are you like getting sole candidates like kicked out of, ejected out of their seat or something? Like what?
Like I
think in 2028, if she hypothetically were to make a primary run for the president, they're gonna make her job harder.
Yes,
they're gonna hurt her in this.
I think they're gonna support her.
Okay.
But if they don't,
I will never
maybe
understand.
If they don't, so 3 years from now, we'll worry about it then, right? Remember, where is the puck going? Not where is the puck now, or where was the puck 2 years ago?
I'll never understand. You guys support her. You want her to be successful. You see.
But we have to criticize our own side. We have to be able to criticize our own side.
Creators with massive audiences.
Say it.
This is not small beans.
Condemn Hassan condemning AOC over this.
You see all of them in unison throwing her under the bus right now, and your reaction is to not like.
Wait a second. Wait. So two separate things. Wait. Two separate things. There's one issue, and I want to see if you agree with me laying out. One issue is, do we agree with that criticism, and do we condemn that criticism?
This is a 400 comment post. Damn. This isn't even that active of a subreddit. AOC is a fraud. This seals it. What is she talking about? Cutting any percentage of aid is more pressure towards Israel to stop, no matter what the aid looks like. And even if you want to argue in the scope of just direct offensive or defensive aid, cutting aid would lower Israel's safety to commit war crimes belligerently. Her DNC handlers told her there's lines that she can't cross. Quote, we're going to keep giving billions to Israel, but we're going to attach a post-it note saying, please just use for Iron Dome, end quote. AOC, Palestine supporter. Cutting off the Iron Dome would lead to peace. How fucking retarded. Oh my God.
I want to answer the affirmative. I condemn that criticism. I support my queen AOC. So that's one issue. Do we support that, and do we condemn the people who are making those opinions? I condemn the people who are condemning AOC on the basis of the vote. I agree with your strategic analysis. I don't really give a fuck if she voted one way or the other. I think it's small potato. I don't think it matters. That's one issue. The separate issue is, do you think it will be a big deal and materially affect anything over the course of AOC's political career? The answer to that is no. And you're telling me I'm unhinged because I have the take that nothing ever happens? I'm unhinged for thinking this shit won't matter?
Like, this shit on its own will probably not matter that much, but it's not just this shit. It's the fact that AOC backstabbed us on Palestine, and then she backstabbed us on a 15-an-hour minimum wage, and then she backstabbed us by working with billionaires, and then she backstabbed us by not getting rid of super PACs on her, and then it's not just this, although even just this on it as an issue, it was actually kind of a big one for a lot of people, because it dominates and co-ops every single fucking leftist and progressive talking point. It has to become about fucking Gaza. Like, Palestine has become the transgender of foreign policy, to where every single conversation has to be solely about this issue.
And they'll forget about it in 2 weeks? That makes me unhinged, Hodge.
Forget about it in 2 weeks? We've talked about this for 2 years.
Right? They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop attacking her. They're going to.
But that's aligning.
They're going to actively work against her. These people have massive audiences that
if Hutch was talking about a demonstrator or a couple protests, Hutch would be unhinged. Okay? It's like, okay, why are we focusing so much on this? Hutch is talking about collectively every single leftist fucking content creator, all of them. These are the largest figures in alternative media on the left.
If they actually mobilize their audiences in constructive way, they could make an electoral difference at the local level, state level.
Now that I agree. Now that I agree.
If you agree with me, then you should think it's a big deal that all of them right now.
Wait a minute. I think you're conflating two separate things. I totally agree with you, and I would be shocked if either Pisco or Econoboy disagreed. This idea that if Hutch was more if Hassan, for example, was more overtly pro Kamala Harris or whatever, alongside all the other big creators, could that have made a meaningful difference? I think yes.
I think maybe, yeah.
And certainly,
maybe if the entire left-wing media didn't fucking shit on the candidate so fucking hard, maybe it could make a slight difference. Maybe.
Trump, and you're not pissed at these people?
Well, wait a minute, but
they could have saved us from Donald Trump, and you're like, oh, well, whatever.
Whoa. Huge conflation, Hutch. So one thing is, on this specific issue, years away from an election, you're saying my nonchalance at this specific vote and criticism of specific content creators at this specific vote, years away from a presidential election, you're saying my
It's not just that. Why are we pretending like this has only come up now? You know that people have confronted AOC like multiple times over the genocide, right? Confronts AOC Israel. I remember watching her. She was like in a stairwell or something, walking. This has happened. This was a year ago. Like this is. I've seen this happen to Bernie Sanders.
You refuse to call it a genocide.
I need you to understand.
It's not okay that there's a genocide happening. You're not actively against it.
You're lying.
I'm lying. You're not. You went on TV and avoided talking about it.
Oh, the stairs. This is what I was thinking further.
It's not. You can't say it's genocide. But it's not political ways. You can't call it genocide. We're not lying. We're not lying. You've been saying in interviews. It's insane. You haven't been calling it a genocide. Don't tell me I'm lying. Then just say it's a genocide. Just say it. Over 30,000 people are dead.
Like this happened a few days ago, right? Or was it yesterday? AOC's campaign office vandalized with anti-Israel message. Her office says she's faced multiple threats on her life in recent days. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has received death threats in recent days and had a campaign office vandalized with a message criticizing her for supporting Israel's war in Gaza, the campaign manager for the New York Congresswoman said Monday. Remember, okay? 2 Jewish people literally got fucking murdered coming out of an embassy by a guy talking about Palestine. The shooting has sparked outrage and has been condemned as an unspeakable act of anti-Semitism after officials said the suspect, who is in custody, shouted, "Free, free Palestine," following the shooting. Like, if any of this was happening on the right, these guys would be incensed. These guys would be losing it. You have far left content creators, the largest left-wing content creators that are echoing a message that is being, or that are starting a message or like resonating with a message that's also going to the entire left-wing protest apparatus. It's going out to all the demonstrators. It's going out to all the social media. And then this guy has said the same thing while murdering 2 Jewish people. And it's like, well, you're telling me that this matters that much? If this was a right-wing thing, it would be such a different conversation. Holy shit.
Nonchalance at that necessarily I'm nonchalant about Hassan with respect to the presidential election.
Sorry, buddy.
Hassan with respect to the presidential election months before the election. How on earth are you going to justify that massive conflation?
Because it's not just this.
Yes.
Your instinct is to always be like, yeah, but that's
it's just one thing. It's just this one thing. It's not a big deal. It's just this one thing this one time. It's not a huge deal, right?
Like the lefties on social media. Bro, they have collective millions of people in their audience. Millions. They could be doing so much more.
Also, Hutch is even saying something even more right here. This is one thing I give. If you have like toxic relationships or toxic friendships, I think one indicator that you should probably like ditch a relationship or ditch a friendship is if this is like a neutral point in your relationship and this is like a good relationship and this is like a bad relationship. If you find yourself stuck in some loop where you are constantly fighting to go from shit to barely neutral. Like sometimes people view this as kind of a victory. Like, okay, well, we got over this fight. We got over this thing. We figured out that issue, I guess. And then there's like another fight. And it's like, and you're in this cycle. Don't think about it as though if I try really hard, maybe I can be neutral in this relationship. Instead, you should think about what if instead of like just wasting all my time on this bullshit, what if I was just putting time into something more positive? So instead of like fighting so hard to get these relationships to neutral, I was like fighting hard to get like a positive relationship, right? Don't imagine a world where lefties aren't shitting on AOC or aren't shitting on Democratic candidates. Imagine a world where lefties are shitting on the right wing instead, where we had all of Antifa that was against Trump, where we have a whole bunch of people mobilized against Trump because of the Israel genocide or whatever, right? Like, wouldn't that be a much, 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 much better world?
To help us like stop fascism. And every time I bring it up, you guys are like, oh, here Hutch goes again.
Wait. So I critiqued heavily. I critiqued heavily, and oh, by the way, Ogre Boy, I don't know. I think he might be in my Twitch actually. Do you want me to ban him? No, it's fine. So I critiqued massively people who said, don't vote for Kamala. Sit out the vote. The pro-Palestinian people. You see me on my Twitter having Twitter wars with these people. I think they're fucking shitty opinions, stupid. I've confronted them on stream, and me being nonchalant about, okay, yeah, this isn't gonna matter. I don't really think it's gonna have a material effect. effect. It's not to lessen the condemnation. Fuck Hassan. I just want to say it one more time. Fuck Hassan Piker. I hate what he fucking stands for. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, fuck Hassan. Fuck Hassan. You want this virtue signal from me. You want this virtue signal from me. You want me to virtue signal and be like, fuck these people. Fuck them. They didn't vote for Biden. They didn't vote for Kamala. Fuck them. I disavow. All I'm saying is you're crazy if you think it's going to have a material effect. It's not going to have a material effect. Now, if you're saying
nothing, the entire unification of the online left-wing media. Like, also remember, this is a big difference too. And I don't even think Pisco actually believes this. I think he's just like in debate mode right now, or he's lying to himself, which would be the worst thing. Maybe he's lying on the platform. I can't tell. But like, the difference is like the left. I don't even know. No, I can't even finish the thought because it doesn't make sense. There's no way that he actually believes this. I was going to say the difference is like the left wing will be like, oh, like it doesn't matter, or it's not our job to educate people, or who cares about any of this shit. And then meanwhile, Charlie Kirk is like, I visited 300 college campuses last year in order to recruit people to Turning Point USA. And also I, have a phone call with Donald Trump every 2 weeks so that we can coordinate strategy because I do think it matters, right? Like the difference is just so unbelievable.
If what you're saying is the purity testing in general, speaks to a broader pattern, a character that is, apt to make them act a certain way, then yeah, that pattern is going to be problematic in the years to come, no doubt. But this particular manifestation,
in the years to come, he needs those Dearborn voting numbers, dude.
Of it, it's not going to fucking matter, bro. It's just they're going to forget about it.
It is not just Hassan, and we should stop looking at this particular thing in a vacuum. This is a systemic problem with that entire.
That's been happening for years.
Entire media ecosystem. Do you understand that?
So Bad and Panada, Hassan. Let's name names. Hassan.
Pull up the
Bad
tweet.
and Panada.
Pull it up.
Which tweet?
The AOC tweet where she talked about her vote yesterday. Let's take a look at the replies and we'll see what we see.
Hutch, I feel like one point that you haven't really responded to is the idea that AOC literally made like this exact same vote like a year and a half ago.
Years ago, yes.
They didn't attack her like this. I don't know what to tell you. They're doing it now.
They did. Wait. The DSA, the National DSA officially unendorsed and removed her from their slate of candidates because of this exact vote that Econoboy is referencing.
Was it AOC's official account or was it her press the AOC updates thing?
I think
let me show.
I'm just imagine this through line for anything else, right? Imagine we come up to, it's 1 month before an election. It's like, okay, guys, you know what? Hutch had a point. It's a problem. What are we going to do now about this? What are we going to do? All right, guys, maybe it is a problem. What are we going to do now? Well, now you're fucked because now we're way too late to fucking do anything about this. Testing 1 2. All right, what should we look on this? I don't even know what this guy's positions are on things. I think I've seen him on Piers a few times now. This is timestamp for how the far right recruits veterans and kids to join the movement. If you want to watch later on.
I was a horizontal light combat engineer.
Daily Wire. Wait, what the fuck is this? DW documentary? Does that stand for Daily Wire? I think it is, right?
Spoiler alert, you're going to see every major leftist content creator.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Scroll down and see what you see.
All right, so let's see. Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment does nothing to cut off offensive aid to Israel nor end the flow of U.S. munitions being used in Gaza. Of course, I voted against it. What it does do is cut off defensive Iron Dome capacities while allowing the actual bombs killing Palestinians to continue. I've long stated I do not believe that adding to the death count of innocent victims to this war is constructive to its end. That is a simple and clear difference of opinion that's long been established. I remain focused. Francesca Fiorentini, you knew it wasn't going to pass, so why not take a stand against military aid to Israel, even if sponsored by Green? Your progressive colleagues, far more vulnerable than you, stood on business against genocide. You got to buck the liberal Zionist lobbyists in your ear.
You don't need to read all the words. Just scroll down. They're all in there, bro.
Well, I'm curious with this one.
Kyle
says this is pathetic.
Ratioed her. Kyle Kulinski, one of the most prominent voices in this space, ratioed her and called her pathetic.
Yep.
And you guys don't think that this is going to make her job more difficult down the line if she wants to make a run at the presidency.
Wait. Did he call her pathetic or did he say that this is pathetic?
Oh my God. That can't possibly be the like most people are reading it that way. Seriously?
right here. This is pathetic. This
Are
is
we being
pathetic.
a bit
So, Hutch,
pedantic?
Hutch,
do you
wait,
think?
wait, Hutch,
Are we being
wait,
a bit
wait,
pedantic?
no,
do you
we're
think?
not. Wait.
Like,
We're
she
not.
called her
being-
action
wait,
pathetic.
So
Fine,
when
I
I
correct myself.
when I say that Biden was pathetic when he did X, doesn't mean that I call Biden pathetic. Now, by the way, I do call Biden pathetic, but that's just separate. But like, if they're not necessarily the same thing, I've seen Kyle Kalinske criticize people very harshly on specific.
All right, welcome back.